right, so this is the first episode, the first podcast of Urban Pitch, the beautiful game of life. We have two very special guests here. You guys want to introduce yourselves? And what
yo. I'm Jez Dior, an artist out of LA. Very happy to be here with Urban Pitch.
I'm Smiles. I'm a professional soccer player.
What position?
All of them.
All right, nice. All right, so no, really, you're the producer, right?
Yeah, I produce.
All right, Smiles?
Yep.
All right, cool. So let's start off with the music thing. Can you tell us how you got started off as a musician? How you got into the whole scene?
Yeah. So when I was like 13 years old, I thought I was a gangster, and I was like super obsessed with 50 Cent and G-Unit and like Eminem and stuff. So it was funny. The other day, me and my boy Oliver were at my house, and my mom gave me this whole bag of like shit that. To take home from our old house, and we found like a bunch of lyrics from like when I was 13 that I used to write, and I was like, yeah, like I'll shoot the gat and like do a bunch of stuff that like 50 Cent would do, but I wouldn't do.
He's never held a gat in his life.
I started like writing music back then just for fun when I was like 13.
This was like a spiral notebook, something that you whipped out,
just
or what was it?
Well, it was weird because some of them were printed out from like my old Windows computer, and then like some were written out, and like some had like weird drawings with like stick figures on them. And then so after that, when I realized I wasn't a gangster, I got into a group in high school that I primarily rapped in, and then after that, when that whole thing ended. I started working with a producer, and we made a song called Candles, and we made a video for that in San Francisco, put that out, and it kind of like went viral like the day after we put it out.
Yeah, I know that one and Love Me to Death, no?
Yeah,
they released
those
right
were
around the same time.
Same time. So I think Love Me to Death was the second single after Candles, both done by the same guy.
Okay.
And after that, it was kind of like, oh, this hobby turned into something real. I was in all the major record labels like literally the next week after Candles came out.
So it wasn't this pre-planned, orchestrated thing where you have all this like 5-year plan. It was just kind of like just dabbling in the waters.
Well, I mean, it was and it wasn't. Like, it was a thing where I dropped out of high school because I wouldn't go to school. And my mom was like could not force me to go to school. My dad left when I was young. I mean, my mom was a single mom, had to deal with my sister, and she could not force me to go to school because I'd stay up till like 4 a.m. every night, like just recording songs over other people's beats. Okay. And so at that point, she was like, okay, you know what, if you're going to do this, then like really do it. Like really try to do this music thing. Right. And so I did, and I started working with different producers and like making my own songs rather than going on other people's beats. And so it was something I took serious, but after Candles came out, it was like, okay, it's go time. Like, let's really do this.
Okay. So how long you guys been working together, Smiles? Like, you weren't in the story at that time, right? So how'd you guys all meet, and how did that happen?
The funny thing is we met, I've been in LA 4 years. I'm from the Bay Area, and I met him right when I moved to LA. I remember the first time I met him, he was laying on my kitchen table getting tattooed by my roommate.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
What was it that sounds like a stick and poke, man. Was that legit?
It was actually this one right here on my hand that's disappeared now. It was a Nirvana tattoo.
Okay.
But it's crazy because I was actually at the Love Me to Death video shoot. Just as like a homie, and we were just like we just like we're up till like 5 a.m, just like messing around shooting, and then I mean obviously I produced, but he kind of had his situation, and we just became really tight homies. And then I don't know, like 3 or 4 years later, it was like, yo, I need some records, and we got in, and it was just, we were already friends, so it was super easy, so
nice. So what kind of, I mean, the type of music that you guys produce and create, like, it's kind of a unique genre in itself, right? What would you classify it as, and kind of what are the influences?
Well, it depends, because the stuff that I was doing before, I had sort of, I mean, I'd say created this genre of grunge rap, something that really didn't exist, and we had heavy guitars in it, and the content was darker, and what I was singing about was just really all the like more sad stuff or darker stuff that was going on in my life. This time around with what we're doing, it's definitely a lot happier, because I'm always just gonna be the artist that raps or sings about what's going on in my life right now, and I'm in a pretty good place. So that stuff before was definitely grunge rap, and I was super influenced by like Kurt Cobain and Nirvana and old Eminem and stuff like that.
Right, the crazy Eminem before he went mainstream. Kind of.
Yeah. And then now, the stuff that he and I are doing is definitely a lot happier. Okay. It's definitely got a more poppier sound. I'll be honest.
It's definitely still grungy. I feel like you were so far. He had such a unique lane that he thinks this stuff is like. Pop, you know,
but he thinks it's poppy, but it's like, but no, you were just so far on the deep end, it's not poppy at all.
It's definitely still, like, I'm like a rock guy, you know, him too, like, both of us grew up on grunge and rock and metal and this and that, you know, as well as hip-hop, so it's definitely, there's guitars in almost every single song.
That's true, yeah.
And, you know, and not your corny, beachy, you know, 120 BPM guitars, like real guitars and real drums, so... It's definitely a unique sound.
So then, you know, we chatted about it earlier, but like I've seen, you know, most of your videos online. I listen to your music. You know, we play your music at our spot all the time, and we try to integrate it with our, you know, our online digital content as well, because we definitely rock with your music. But some of that stuff, like Clean Me Up, you know, even like the leather video. Which I thought was pretty dope, right? And has like the rodeo and
thought he was a cowboy.
Yeah, cowboy rodeo motif, you know, but it's got that grunge rap still going. The undertone is still pretty dark, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is that so? Like, what was going on, you know, during your life at that time?
So,
you know,
that was definitely a hard point in my life. You know, I was getting older, and
by older, you were like what, 22 at the time, 21?
21, yeah, something. I don't know.
Right,
but like, out of my teen years.
Okay.
And I was like a very, you know, I was confused youth. Like I just didn't know, you know, I didn't know what to make of everything that had happened in my life, and I've dealt with a lot of death in my life with family members, and my dad left, and sort of everybody that was a father figure to me in some way had left my life. You know, my dad had left, and one of them is still in jail, you know, from that time, and then the rest passed away. And so it was definitely a coming of age, like getting all my anger out and all my, you know, I was just like distressed. And so that record, The Funeral, really helped me get through all that. And yeah, no, I don't know. I'm just in a better place. But the visuals for that stuff, I worked with this girl, Valentina, who's just like amazing and really captured everything that I wanted to get out at that time. Yeah. Okay, so before we go on, you have something?
I was gonna say, I'll never forget. Like there was one day we were in the studio working. It was right after we did. No, it was right after we did.
Who Drank My Whiskey?
No,
that was
what's
back in the
called?
days, right?
That video was tight.
Stay on the Outside. It was right after we did Stay on the Outside, and you're sitting there and you're just like, I'm happy. You're like, it's weird. Yeah. You're like, it's weird, but I'm happy, and I kind of want to make happier music because I'm happy.
Yeah, I was just like so in this place of, like, that was my zone. That's how I knew how to make music. Like just being like the sad little guy.
So before we move on to, you know, your upbringing and your family and your dad and all that, so last question about your music. All right, so what's up with Who Drank My Whiskey? You really like I'm scared to go anywhere near your whiskey. What's up with that song? Tell me what's all that about?
So actually,
hey, if Jack Daniels is listening, if Jack Daniels is in the room, this guy drinks. And the whole crew drink more Daniels than
and I still,
anybody.
Not only
in
potential
the world.
sponsor, right, but like number one customer.
Like you go in my studio, there's like 15 empty Jack bottles. You go in his house, there's like 25. It's ridiculous.
I just think Jack Daniels, Jez Dior, same initials. Just a match made in heaven.
Oh yeah.
What was the question?
Yeah, who drank my? Okay, so I saw the video, and you know, who drank my whiskey, and there's a lot of anger there, man, about who drank your whiskey. What is all that about? And I know that's not the entire.
Don't drink my whiskey.
Yeah, I know that's not the entire, you know, song and throughout. But what is that about?
So, who drank my whiskey?
Yeah.
Picture this: we're in the valley, 5 a.m. In the studio, and this, you know, my producer's just playing this guitar, and I'm like. I'm off the whiskey. Like I'm gone. I'm gone. And I'm like, okay, let me go in the booth.
Okay.
And I just start screaming. Like I've never done this before. It's just like a super nice outlet for me. And I just, drink my whiskey, you know?
Yeah.
And they're like, whoa, go do that again. I'm like, I can't. Like not a chance. My throat hurts. They're like, no, do it again. And I kept doing it. And they're like, this is crazy. This is crazy. So that's how we made this song. And I just kind of, that day I actually wrote in a notepad that I have. I wrote all those lyrics down in a notepad, like, Lord, let her, whatever the lyrics were. And I never write. I always write on my iPhone.
Okay.
And so it just was like a super therapeutic moment writing that song and recording that song. We got done at like, I don't know, it was pretty quick actually. We got done at like 7 a.m. So it was only like a 2-hour process.
Right.
And so the video, I took it again to Valentina, who did Leather and Clean Me Up. And when we put that video out, we got so much hate from like
from what?
From like
non-whiskey drinkers or what?
No, from well, it became this ongoing joke. Like all my fans would feel like, oh, I drink your whiskey. I was the one.
Right.
But from like feminist groups, and my director and producer of that video, they're a lesbian couple.
Okay.
And the feminist groups that attacked us just completely missed the point, because as you can see in the video, I'm sort of
he's getting dumb.
Well, but while that's happening, you can see I'm not paying attention. Like I'm sort of trying to keep myself away from everything that comes with music, like girls and that side of things. I'm trying to keep myself away. Like as in the video, there's a scene where there's a bunch of girls dancing in that room, and I'm on the other side of the wall just smoking a cigarette and drinking my Jack. Like, I could care less about all that shit. And that's what we were trying to portray in the video, and a lot of people got it, but some groups attacked us. And so the director and the producer put out this like long statement, just totally shut everybody up.
And then just we put everything under control.
And then we had nothing coming at us after that. So.
Got it. All right, so tell us a little bit about your upbringing then. You know, you mentioned your father, and I know he's a musician as well, and he obviously, he's well known. Can you tell us a little bit about your youth and your upbringing?
Yeah, so my mom and my dad, I think they met in Hollywood, which is funny because that's where I live now. My mom is just the greatest woman in the world. She's... Shout out Gloria. Yeah, shout out Gloria. She's... we were always the house where all my friends came and hung out at. She's been a single mom for forever, took care of me and my sister. She couldn't have done a better job.
Shout out to all the moms out there.
Shout out all the moms. All right. My dad was an amazing dad for the first 12 years of my life. Taught me about music, taught me about playing soccer. Was just played FIFA with him every night. Was just like my best friend. My best friend forever. And then him and my mom got divorced, tried to make it work for a couple of years, didn't happen, and he went back to London, and where he's from. And he had, I remember him telling me, I'll be back in a month. I just got to go deal with shit over there. And then he never came back. And I didn't.
You were 12 at the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is my best friend at the time.
Yeah.
And we didn't see each other until... It was last year. Till last year.
And
then I'll be back from when you were 12 years old wasn't until last year?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was the craziest part is obviously being his friend, I know this situation.
Yeah.
And especially all the blogs and all that bullshit love to play up your dad was a punk rocker and he's gone or yada yada, and he hadn't seen his dad since he was 12, and I'll never forget. We're at a bar in Hollywood last year, 2 years ago, and he comes up to me. I'm like, yo, what up? He's like, yo, I gotta tell you something crazy's going on. And I'm saying what up to everyone. I'm like, yo, hold up. He's like, no, I gotta tell you something. I'm like, yeah. Out of nowhere, some old dude comes and busts in the circle and shoves everyone out of the way and comes up to me and he's like, hello.
Pops.
He's like, I'm Jez's father. Can you believe it? The internet says we don't speak. This is my boy. And I was just
terrible English accent.
Right. So your dad is Russell Brand? Or?
But I just remember being completely at a loss for words, just floored, shocked, no idea what to think or say. It was
so wild. I saw him last year. And it was crazy. He wasn't supposed to stay this long at all, but we ended up rebuilding, and he stayed at my house for 3 months out of last year, just all in a row. And then he had to go back. And then I met him in New York, and we hung out for a little bit in New York when I had to go do stuff over there. And he had a reunion show at Max's Kansas City, which is a famous venue out there. It was their 50th anniversary or some shit. And then now I'm going to see him on tour when I go over there in a month. But, yeah, man, my dad was best friends with Sid Vicious from the Sex Pistols. His upbringing was super crazy. His stepfather, who was basically his father, was a Holocaust survivor. And he was in boarding schools his whole life. Left in New York when he was like 20, I think. Okay. You know, traveled with Sid and Sex Pistols and his own bands. Johnny Thunders taught him how to play guitar. He, you know, music was like the only thing he ever had going for him. And he also paints as well, but music is the main thing. I see. And then he loved Chelsea.
He's the one that loves Chelsea.
Yeah, he's the one that loves Chelsea. And then, so it was crazy. And then he met my mom and kind of like tamed down for some years and took care of me and my sister for 7 years or 5 years, I don't know. But yeah, it was crazy. Like I didn't know any of that shit until I got older.
Right.
But yeah, he taught me everything I love, soccer and music.
So one thing that I noticed, as a musician, as an artist, and you have really good plays on YouTube, and people know about you, and I see that. Well, something that kind of stuck out to me, which is kind of different from the way that most musicians and people that are trying to really get in the limelight nowadays do, is you're not big on social media. You know what I mean? Instagram. You know what I mean? Like you have followers, but it's not like you're. It seems to me that you're not actively trying to do any type of self-promotion. So, what's up with that? And then, Smiles as a producer, how do you feel about that? You know what I mean?
It's crazy. I just, Twitter's my thing. I like Twitter. Okay. I don't really care. Like these kids that I see outside of my shows, like shaking and crying and look like me and like, paint their nails like me and bleach their hair and shit. Like they don't give a fuck about that. And neither do I. Like that's what I do this shit for. I make in my music, I'm honest. Right. Like I'm not talking about, making money and throwing it around.
And by the way, you probably are the number one person to have promoted the painting nails emoji amongst guys. Amongst guys.
Right? Where's it at? Where's it at?
Well, it's right here.
Yeah, throw that out. He's got the painting, the nails emoji tattoo.
And that whole thing for me was because, in the Who Drank My Whiskey video, I'm painting my nails. Right. And I was just like, don't fucking judge me. That's why I got this, That's why I got this tattoo. And that's why I love that emoji, because it was like, I'll do what I want.
Exactly. Yeah. So you're willing to be out there. Obviously, every like girl knows the painting emoji. Right but now. Honestly, I'll be honest. Like you're the first dude and guy that I saw heavily promoting the painting nails emoji. Totally. And then I think it's cool now. I'm okay with it. I don't paint my nails, but if
my nails aren't painted right now, but I might go home and do them.
Hey, if you text me, you're 100% getting the painted nails emoji. That's all it is.
So you're more of a Twitter guy than anything, which is talking about like where you're from and your emotions and at that moment, right? Keeping it real.
Ask him if he follows his friends on Twitter, because he doesn't follow me on Twitter.
I unfollowed him yesterday.
He doesn't follow me on Twitter.
Unfollowed him yesterday.
Yeah. World exclusive. Jez Dior doesn't follow his producer on Twitter.
You're like Champagne Poppy, right? You're like
I'm not really one person. I'm not really.
Everyone tries to see who that person you're following.
But I'm not really on the internet like that. Okay. That's the thing.
But he says that. But he is on Twitter all day, so he lies.
So who's the one person you're following, Smiles?
Shout out Baraki Rock.
Baraki Rock. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I mean, that's why I love Twitter, because I can respond to my fans every day. Right. And I'm like, Snapchat's tight because I can respond to them too.
Okay.
Yeah, his fans are crazy too. I'm not even on the internet like that. And my Twitter will be all Twitter these people blowing up like.
And that's all I care. Like cool. I do cool shit. I can post a picture of it on Instagram sometimes, but like I'd rather just interact with my fans.
Right.
That's what it's about for me. It's not about anything else other than making music that helps me and helps them.
Okay. Instagram is just trying to make yourself look cooler than you actually are for everyone else.
That's true.
That's all it is.
Yeah. There's just so many artists these days that are like internet flex, like literally. I'm not scared of saying it. Terrible music posted by Complex or The Fader or whatever, the cool websites, and it's just so bad. Like it sounds like there's so much. I call it Xanax music. There's so many people just taking Xanax, and you can hear that they're on it while they're recording it. It's like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't do Xanax, kids.
Yeah, I've been there, done
Public
that.
service announcement, PSA. Don't do that an excuse. All right.
You know, so I just like, you know, my fans are real kids, and I just like to talk to them.
Right. So let's talk about, you know, when we first met, right? We met, basically you came out with your boys to UrbanFutsal LA, playing futsal, indoor soccer, right? Small-sided.
Yeah.
Tell us about your, you know, your soccer interest and your background and what that's all about.
Yeah, it's tight. This is what I like.
Let's do it. Let's get into it.
So I started playing with my pops like as soon as I could walk. I was kicking a ball around. Like, I remember he used to say, like, I was the laziest kid in the world, and like lazy until I had a ball at my feet and I do everything. He's like, fuck, if you had a ball at your feet, you could do anything in the world. And so I started playing super early, but my mom's side, they're all Brazilian. And so I just remember 1998, I was 6, and Brazil lost the final of the World Cup to France 3-0. And I just lost. Like, my whole life was done. I lost my shit. Like, I remember
I'm a Zidane fan, so I was like on the other side going,
I hate you. We're not friends anymore. So I remember crying in their room, just like tears and everything. And that's when, like, I really feel like I fell in love with the game. Like, I felt so passionate about it when they lost. And my favorite player was Ronaldo back then, like R9. And he was on Inter at the time. And so I just fell in love with Inter.
Right, so that's the interconnection, right?
That's the interconnection.
I've seen you rock the Inter Milan jersey all the time.
Always.
Yeah,
I have, you know, AC Milan.
AC Milan.
Mm-hmm. I got fuck AC tattooed.
Oh, AC Milan, not
lips.
Inter Milan.
No, I love Inter. I have fuck AC on my lips.
Oh,
tattooed.
I was gonna say, yeah.
No,
wow, that's taking us to the
don't
next
mix that
level.
up.
Next
Don't
level.
Mix that
Yeah,
up.
I was like, AC Milan.
Forza Inter, always.
Okay.
Don't mix
Come
that
on,
up.
you Blues though. Go Toffees.
Right. And so I fell in love with Inter.
Right.
And then when Ronaldo left to Real Madrid,
right,
like, I think it would be like the normal thing for a young kid to follow him and go support Real Madrid. And my dad always was surprised by this. For some reason, I just stayed loving Inter, and I'm just like a diehard Inter fan since then. And yeah, throughout my youth, I played club always, and I played for my high school team. And I wish I really never stopped. There was like 2 years when my dad left. And, like, I felt disconnected from the game, I feel like, because he left. And so I stopped playing, and I hurt my knee and stuff. But, like, there was, like, scouts coming to watch me and stuff when I was a young kid. And I really wish I never stopped doing that. But thankfully, that time, I sort of got into music. So it's kind of interesting. I feel like I might have gone the other way if I didn't stop playing.
How do you feel about Icardi leaving?
He's not, dude. He's signing a new contract.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
I'll pull it up right now. And so, yeah, I'm a massive, massive fan of the game.
Right.
Been that way since I was a kid.
Right.
You know.
So we've been, you know, obviously doing different things with Adidas, and we have a pretty good activation going on for the summer, right? For 3 months so far.
Shout out Adidas. Shout out the base.
Yep. Shout out Adidas, the base LA, right? And you guys are frequent, you know, players that come through during the day, right? When the fans aren't going to bombard you, right?
Yeah.
Like 12 to 2, 3 p.m. slot in case, you know, any Jez Dior fans want to come out.
Yeah, come through.
But, yeah, so what do you guys all think about the whole, what we've been trying to promote, which is street soccer and blending it with the urban culture and hip-hop and obviously rocking your music? And, you know, what do you guys think about that whole that
for
urban
real,
scene?
it's so tight. For anyone who hasn't been to the base, it's so dope. Like, I have friends who hate soccer, don't play sports, and they'll, like, go just to check it out because it's dope. And even, like, before the base opened, we were trying to play. For the last couple months, we've been trying to play during the days before we go into the studio. And you have no idea how hard it is to just find an open field that you're allowed to play on.
Right.
Like, we would get rolled up on by the cops. Like, it's ridiculous.
No, for real, on my birthday.
It's ridiculous.
Right. I just, like, on my birthday, I just wanted to play soccer, and we went and got, like, rolled up on by the cops. So, the base and what you guys do and what you had done before with UrbanFutsal is the best thing in town.
I appreciate that.
Hands down.
Yeah, because it's like literally, and we told the cops this when we came. It's like, yo, we're trying, like, we're trying to play soccer. Like, you want us to go out and get addicted to heroin?
Right.
You know what I mean? You want us to go, like, rob people? Like,
soccer or rob somebody?
It's literally crazy. It was an empty field, and we couldn't play. So it's like, we, like, greatly appreciate that you guys have a space that kids can come and, you know, exercise and get into something that's not drugs or robbing. So,
and for me, it's the best of both worlds. You know, you're playing hip hop and I'm playing soccer. It's like, you know, there's nothing like that out here, at least.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know?
So we're gonna continue to try to promote that, right? Blending in of hip hop, urban culture, LA. Let's talk about LA culture a little bit now. So obviously you guys are here in LA.
Yeah.
What's the what are you guys into? What's the LA nightlife scene like?
We run Hollywood. We
run
Hollywood.
So we
shout out Black.
Yeah, shout
out
Black.
Bethany and Shannon, the whole team.
Yeah, we go to Black Bar every weekend. It's 6202 Santa Monica Boulevard. So, we DJ there all the time.
Yeah, my next question is, how come I've never gotten an invite?
Yeah, hey, we're there.
You probably don't follow me on my social media.
Yeah, no, I follow you on everything except Twitter. I didn't even know
5 nights a week.
Now I'm on.
If you show up at Black on any day that ends in day, we're there. We're there. Yeah.
Black Hollywood. All right.
Yeah. So Black is the most popping spot, I swear, on the weekends. It's better because it's not like some club shit.
Yeah.
It's just like.
Yeah, it's not whack like Hollywood, nose in the air. It's just like good people trying to have a good time.
Yeah, it's all the skaters, it's all the rappers, it's all like it's a cool crowd. It's really fun.
Yeah, that's
a week for me and Ben is basically in the studio.
Working from what hours? I know you guys work late at night.
Well,
right?
lately we've been working during the day for some reason. I hate that.
I like it.
And by day, what are you talking about? Like 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Is that what you mean by day? Or?
Like 2 to 10.
Yeah. Okay.
But normally I'm in the studio throughout the night, unless we're at Black. Then I'm there at night.
Okay.
And then we're at Cactus eating tacos.
Oh yeah, shout out Cactus.
For sure. At Cactus eating tacos.
And the shawarma place.
Oh, the shawarma. I was just gonna say we're never really on the boulevard, Hollywood.
That's the only time we go to Hollywood.
I know the
Boulevard.
Halal Brothers, but shawarma place is a good spot.
It's on what? Hollywood and Gower.
It's right next to the strip club.
You say it like I'm supposed to know where the strip club is like that. Come on, don't put me on blast like that.
Hollywood, and it's like Hollywood and Coingar or Vine or something.
It's the strip club that's like 50
Showgirls.
pretty girls and one ugly one.
Hollywood.
One on Sunset.
No, the one on Sunset is 7th Veil, I think.
Okay. But I don't have the membership cards like you guys. I'm not connected like you guys. I don't have the 10 visits and get one free.
Last time I was in a strip club, I fell asleep and got kicked out. So really? I'm not a fan of the strip club.
I wasn't there, and that's a lie.
No, the shawarma place. Where else do we go?
Yeah, what other than Hollywood?
Pavilions.
What was that? The grocery store Pavilions?
Yeah. We buy a lot of Jack Daniels there.
Okay. Yeah, shout out to Pavilions providing the Jack Daniels.
I mean, bro, our weeks are sort of it's like the base.
Mm-hmm. During the day, right? Sweating out all the stuff from the night before. Yeah, getting exercise.
The studio.
Okay.
And then Black,
and then like my house, parties in my house,
right. Or the new after hour spot. I don't want to get it shut down.
Right.
So
you don't have to.
I don't want to put it out.
But tell what the scene is like.
There's a dope new after hour spot in Hollywood.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's tight. It's this giant warehouse. Goes off.
Yeah. Like you bring dogs in there.
Yeah, there'll be like dogs. You'll be hammered and there's like dogs running around. It's great.
And there's I don't even do drugs, but there's lots of drugs there.
Right.
I do drink. There's lots of drinks there.
Right.
That's a good time.
Fun, but I don't really think we can say.
I feel like Hollywood's very divided. There's like the posh kind of bougie, everyone trying to be seen in the tabloids and this and that, and then there's this like gutter, grimy,
little grittier street, the real Hollywood kind of,
and it's tight. And I feel like we both have like been here long enough and are out enough that not in the like first side, but in the latter, we kind of like. It's a cool little community. You see all the same people at the same bars. Like, you kind of know what's going on, all the functions. So it's a cool community.
Yeah. Yeah, you like some, can't stand some.
So then, what do you guys in terms of like fashion sense and style? What I mean? You guys have like a very, I don't want to say eclectic per se, but it's it varies from street to urban.
I've been wearing this shirt for like 6 days straight.
That's so true. That's honestly true. And look, it's
you have 6 of them, or is it the same one? 6 days?
Same one. I've been literally wearing this for 6 days.
And that's literally true.
Okay.
Me, I'm a little different.
Right.
My fashion sense is just sort of all over the place. Like, I wake up in the morning and just feel influenced by I don't know, like I used to rip everything I owned and paint my nails and just like leather jacket every day.
Yeah, the first time I met you were into. You weren't like wearing obviously black leather jackets when you're playing and all that.
Yeah,
but that was a style more like goth, kind of darker. Yeah. That and was you had the hair like the braids and dyed hair, and
Yeah, I think I'm gonna dye my hair tomorrow.
Okay,
just off topic. Yeah, but yeah, I kind of just wake up and whatever I'm influenced by is like some shit that I'll put on or cut up or make or whatever.
It's definitely street, kind of more on the street, gritty, urban style though, right?
Yeah.
It seems like.
We got to wear suits later this month. We're going to a wedding.
Okay.
That's super rare.
Okay. But then usually, the guys that are like into the scene, the cool hip guys, even though they wear suits, I always notice they're fitted like sneakers on the bottom. You guys going to wear like dress shoes or how you guys going to
Nah, when I get dressed up, I like to dress up.
All the way?
Yeah.
He goes all the way out.
Yeah.
He puts on a blazer. He starts feeling himself. He starts talking in a British accent, running around. It's crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Bow tie? You guys do a bow tie or necktie?
I don't know yet. It depends. I'm going to go shopping and find something. But yeah, when I dress up, I like to, slick the hair back and do the whole thing.
All the way.
Yeah. all the way.
It's rare. So
I can't remember the last time I dressed up.
Yeah.
So tell us about your guys' upcoming tour. I know it's coming up on the books. It's a European tour, right? Is this the first time in Europe, by the way?
It's first time playing in Europe. I haven't been since I was younger, but first time playing in Europe. First date in Glasgow, Scotland on the 14th. I'm just excited to go to Europe to meet the English people. I fucking love football. Like people who feel like me. I'm stuck out here.
This guy's been tweeting at Daniel Sturridge, telling him
you're on the guest list.
So that he's on the guest list to the show.
I think it was Sterling, but Sturridge is on there as well if you need to.
Nice. So then let's talk a little bit about the soccer culture here in the U.S. I think the U.S. women's team just got eliminated from the Olympics.
Yeah, right? I was watching that.
Yeah,
we
were literally looking
in the Uber on the way over. I watched the penalties.
Shout out U.S. women's team though.
Shout out Alex Morgan.
Hey, Alex Morgan. I'm from the East Bay, from Berkeley. You went to Cal.
She's married. She's married, by the way.
Not for long.
Too late, bro. Professional soccer player, husband. Yeah, it's too late. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
She's married to a soccer player?
Yeah.
She would be. That's so lame.
Hey, I play soccer too.
No,
catch me
at
the base. You ain't seen my skills, girl.
I don't know. You know what? I might be. Actually, I'm getting confused with Cindy LaRoe. Cindy LaRoe is married to a professional.
I think Alex Morgan's single.
Still single?
Yeah, I heard she's waiting for me.
Little window of opportunity, waiting just for smiles. Yeah. Slide into the DM.
Yeah. Oh, I need to follow her on Twitter.
So you guys follow women's soccer, and
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. The World Cup, the Women's World Cup, I was in New York, and I feel like their scene is so much better than ours. Like, there was bars, like 3 stories just packed in Manhattan watching all the games. It was so much fun when they won that. I think the soccer in the U.S. is growing for sure.
Yeah,
it's definitely growing.
Right.
And as successful as the women are, I think it'll keep growing if they continue it.
Our men's team, we had a great run in the Copa, and I think that because I went to the final of the Copa at a bar in like Los Feliz, and it was
packed
wall to wall,
right?
So I think it's only a matter of time back.
And I think in cities like in LA specifically, just like knowing firsthand, like there's so few fields that you can play at out here that you don't have to either pay money for or like rent out the whole thing.
Or have a permit or something.
Or have a permit, or you don't get kicked out by the cops. And so I think futsal will only grow in major cities because there's not room to put a bunch of free fields everywhere for everyone to go play whenever they please. And so places like the base, it's just like it can only do good.
Literally in Hollywood, like if you drive around and you point at a field, it's like, oh, you can't play there without a permit.
Yeah, there's enough fields.
You can't play that.
Right.
It's so ridiculous. Like literally, we could drive around Hollywood and we could point at every field and be like, "Oh, you have to be under 10 years old to play on that one. Oh, you have to have a city permit to play at that one. Oh, you can only play here Friday night, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m." Like it's so ridiculous, and these fields are empty most of the day. So I think that that's why I love the base and everything you guys are doing, just because it's a place for us to play.
Good to hear. Yeah, sounds like we're doing things right with Adidas. Shout out to Adidas.
Shout out
to Adidas.
Yeah. So then, as we wrap up, for your fans out there that are here, not only in the States but in Europe, obviously.
Yeah.
Give us the details of the upcoming tour, where your first city is, and the dates and all that, so they can go out and get your tickets.
Yeah. The Euthanasia tour kicks off on the 14th of September in Glasgow. We'll be going all the way until the 1st. Where we end in Vienna, I believe. We just dropped the second single off of the EP today, titled "Loved You First." There's a video that goes along with that. He produced it.
Euthanasia EP coming very soon.
Yeah, the name may change. It's up in the air.
How do you spell that, by the way? Do you spell it the normal euthanasia or youth in Asia?
Jez changes everything.
Okay. Yeah, YOUTH.
No, but tell them about euthanasia.
Yeah, well, it feels like I'm at a point where, like I said earlier at the funeral, I was kind of coming out of my youth, and so now euthanasia, and that's why we spelled it that way, YOUTH. It feels like I'm, sort of becoming a man and becoming, growing into my own, and letting all of that stuff go that was on that, was so built up in me and inside of me for the funeral EP. So that's why the tour is called that, and potentially the EP is called that.
Yeah, he literally was texting me one day and was like, "Yo, like, what about euthanasia for the EP?" Because we've been, going back and forth, and I'll never forget. He said it so perfectly. He had this deep ass text message, but he was just like, "I'm at this point where it's like, I have to actively work and kill off my youth to grow, or eventually like my youth is gonna kill me." He's like, "I'm at this fork in the road," and I'll never forget that because it was a very defining moment. I feel like
I'll give you a quick short story. When I was in high school, I was on the debate team, and I was cool like that. And,
that's honestly, now that we're older, that's really cool.
It is, yeah. But back then, I missed that train. And one of the topics I remember, I was at a school, and the speech debate topic was like, "What are your thoughts about euthanasia?" And this was back in the days. I was like 10th grade. Had no idea what euthanasia was. And debated for like 5 minutes on why youth in Asia should be so this and that. Suffice it to say, I lost that debate.
That's so tight. That's so funny.
That's amazing.
My
God. That's amazing.
Have you ever seen the Dr. Kevorkian movie, the euthanasia movie?
No.
He's like the guy who started euthanasia and really pushed for it.
Right.
Tight movie. Anyway.
Okay. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, we'll definitely have you back again.
Yeah.
And looking forward to having you guys, obviously, at the Base LA.
Always.
And, continue to tune in, guys, for Urban Pitch Podcast, The Beautiful Game of Life.
Shout out Adidas. Shout out UrbanFutsal. Jez Dior.
Shout out Life.
Shout out Life. Shout out Life.
Come on, you blue. Go Toffees.
Forza Inter.
Go Toffees.
Forza Inter.
Toffees are about to sign Juan Mata.